Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
Truly a sight to behold. The man beat the once great champ, now a study in moppishness. No longer the victory-hungry stallion we've raced so many times before, but a pathetic, washed-up, aged ex-champion.
All right, let's go.
I think you know the guy. And I think you know him pretty damn well. His name is
Izzy Presley.
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 What's my name? Say my name, bitch!
My good friend, Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley. Ouch!
Izzy Presley. Whoa, that sounds a little weird.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley.
Izzy Presley, the heaviest, girthiest rock DJ around.
Hey, this is Jeff LaBar. You listen to Izzy Presley. Those aren't pillows.
Hello, Las Vegas. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you. It is always good to be seen. I'm Izzy Presley, the host of the program. It's called Another Effing Podcast. And if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome. It's good to see you guys. Got a great show for you this week. My good friend Keith Roth from SiriusXM Hair Nation and Ozzy's Boneyard is going to join the show in a little bit. His brand new record is called The Law of Diminished Returns. It is right here. It is available right now. And you'll see the link down there, along with all the other links you guys should click and check out and buy stuff from and support, because that's what we do. Also got the return of, that's right, Dating Tips with Porn Stars, taken from the AVNs in January here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have Nikki Vicious and Michelle Danielle. And they're in the trans one. They're the trans category. Couple beautiful gals and very insightful and entertaining. That's going to be coming up in here just in a little bit. Make sure you guys do check out the Las Vegas Guitar Trade Show. That is coming up in the end of May into the beginning of June. That weekend is going to be great. I'm hosting that. I'll be hosting on the Blue Cruise, which is in August, the end of August, 22nd through the 29th, leaving out of Boston and going north. And then next week, I will be on Cruise to the Edge, which is the Prague cruise. Excited about that, as I do every year, along with my good friend Brian Ott, DJ Beef himself, or as I called him, Brian from Sheboygan, when he came up to play on the Monsters Cruise with us. Hosting karaoke and doing all the hosting stuff, along with my good brother, Mr. Mike Dawson. Make sure you guys do hit up that Patreon. If you are on the Patreon, you're getting this right now, ad-free. If you're not on the Patreon, you're getting this on Saturday. That's how it works. But if you're listening to it, you get ads, unless you're on the Patreon. Patreon.com/Real Izzy Presley. It's only $5 a month. Get on that. It's cheap. Extra bonus content. You get the shows before everybody else. You get shows that nobody else gets, only the Patreon folks. Come on, join the show. It would be glorious of you. Welcome to the family. That's right. I am currently working on the Hall of Fame show. I'm reaching out to a couple people that are going to be inducted in this first class. Yes, full disclosure, stealing this idea from my good pals Tom and Zeus over on the Shout It Out Loud cast. I've actually been thinking about this for a long time, and hearing them do their Hall of Fame episode, it was like, fuck it, it's time. I'm going to do it. I'm inducting 5 people. I've been in touch with 2 of them already. I do know who they are going to be. Going to start working on that as soon as I get back from from Cruise of the Edge. So I'll be gone from the 2nd to the 9th, and try to get some Patreon content for you guys, because you guys are not going to be on Cruise of the Edge. A lot of you guys are on Monsters, so it's like, what's the point? you guys are there, you're seeing it all anyways. And it wasn't really any behind the scenes stuff to do. I was so fucking busy. So busy on Monsters, but I love it, 5 shows, karaoke, 2 comedy shows, my 2 fucking cruiser jams, all the hosting stuff, introducing bands. I went out and married a couple on the beach. It wasn't real because the cruise ship owns the beach, so the captain has to do it if they want to be legal. So maybe they'll come out in Vegas and we'll do it for real. So there is that. What else do we got? Make sure you guys hit up all the socials, Real Izzy Presley, all the way across the board, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, that is the same as the Venmo. All that information is down underneath. And of course, well, it's on Cameo too. You can get me to do a cameo. That'd be pretty cool. And of course, hit up the website because everything is on the website, izzypresley.com. And shout out to loyal listener Stephen Heyman up in Canada who did that website for me. So thank you very much, Stephen. And I'm sure he has his link on the website. I actually haven't looked at it lately, which I should because I have to start updating it. I'm going to start putting blogs and news stories and stuff like that. So we're going to do a lot of that kind of fun stuff. Now, obviously, earlier this week, there was a show where I vented about Kiss and joked at the same time. Now, let me get this straight. I fucking love Kiss. Kiss is the reason I do what I do. It all comes back to fucking Kiss. Sometimes you have to, call it as you see it. And don't get me wrong, I would love to go. That would be fucking fun. But the fucking packages came out. Cheapest one, starting at $999. So basically $1,000 a person. And, well, it's just, 1,000 person. I'm sorry, 1,109. Starting at. That includes your fees and taxes. Oh, but wait, there's more. $329 per person per night. So even if you shack up with somebody, share a room, you're still both paying $330 a night. So basically you're paying $1,500. Oh, then the next one. $1,269 a month per person. So $1,329 or $1,389, I'm sorry. Plus $419 per person per night. Oh, but you get round trip shuttle to and from the airport with that one. So there's that. Oh, then it kicks up another $1,000. $1,300 actually. $2,659. Plus, does that say $889 a night per person? Oh yes, it does. So $2,829 total with fees and taxes, plus another $900 per person per night. Oh, but wait, there's more. $4,909, which is really $5,149 with taxes and fees, plus an extra $1,639 a month. A month. I keep saying a month. It's like I'm paying rent. $1,639 a night per person. So, yeah, guess who's not going to see Kiss? And I'm not going to lie. If you listened to the show earlier this week, I pretty much talked myself into wanting to go, but there's no fucking way. There is no fucking way. How do they expect people to afford this? This is ridiculous. Of course, you're talking to a broke guy. You're not talking to somebody with money. Fuck, if you have money, man, have fun. I'm not saying don't go. If you got the fucking money, go. It's just like the cruises. Yeah, they're fucking expensive. Are they worth it? You're goddamn right they are. And this is basically a Kiss cruise on land. And they haven't even announced who's all playing, if there's going to be more bands. I don't fucking know. I'm sure many of you will correct me on that. So, but look, if you want to go, man, go have fun, have a blast. It's fucking Kiss. You'll be surrounded by fellow Kiss-tards. It'll be fucking great. And I say that with the most love possible because I am one. I'm more of a geek than a tard, but whatever. What can you do? I also came across this news story. It has to do with soccer. I know. I know a lot of you are falling asleep just with the word soccer. It's the only thing American sports fans care less about than the WNBA. But this has to do with hot trim. Argentina fan who went topless at the World Cup final escapes punishment in Qatar. So, of course, you know, women can't be naked in Qatar in public. Oh, it was her and her friend. They're both Argentinian. They're both hot. They're fucking hot. And I can't find any fucking pictures of it unblurred, which really pisses me off. Then I dug a little bit more into the article. Oh, they've got their fucking, they're posing topless, posting the pictures, but they're blurred because they're on Instagram. So they have their Instagram handles, and I'm like, ooh, let's check these broads out. Private accounts, of course. You know these broads are fucking OnlyFans girls. You know they are. Good for them. Good for them. God damn, they're fucking hot, too. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, it is true. I can finally say something positive about soccer. It has to do with naked, hot broads. God bless naked, hot broads. They are a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing. God bless hot trim. I'm looking at all these pictures. There they are. There they are. Blurred. So dumb. It's so dumb. I wonder if I just did a little. So, female crash. Nude. Blurred. Covered. Blurred. Blurred. This is horse shit. Look at those things. They're fucking tremendous. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, this okay. This is bullshit because they have pasties on. They are not fucking. Now I'm pissed. I got all worked up, all excited. They have fucking pasties on their nipples. Pasties. Oh, hold on. Yeah, pasties. Tape covering their fucking. This is so fucking misleading. This is horse shit. Fuck soccer. So dumb. It's so. You tease me with topless hot chicks. You tease me. I love boobs. We all love boobs. Boobs are unbelievable. But no. Gotta have tape over them. It's not topless. Yes, the boobs are flopping all over the place. Well, actually, no, those look pretty fake, so they're probably not very floppy. But they're covered up. Why? They're all covered up. It's so dumb. Jesus Christ. Now I'm a sad fat guy. Not only am I tired, not only am I hungover, not only do I have to poop, now I'm bummed, I'm depressed because you can't actually see the boobs. It's a tease. It's all a fucking tease. It's horse shit. So dumb. Stop. If you're going to show the boobs, show the boobs. Like Edmonton Oilers gal last year in the playoffs. Showed her boobs. You can see those. You can find those. This is dumb. Stupid. Horseshit. I'm still looking at them. And now I'm getting even more mad. Now I'm getting even more pissed. I mean, look at those things. I want to see those. Taunting me with the thought about being able to see boobs. And then you can't see boobs? So dumb. So dumb. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. It's brutal. Why would you do that? So dumb. And now I keep going back and looking at them. And I'm getting more pissed. It's just not right. It's just not right. You're Argentinian. Show them. It's not that big of a deal there. It's boobs. It's fucking boobs. Don't tease me with boobs. I could keep this going for hours, but I'm not going to. But speaking of boobs, no, you're not going to see boobs in the show. But I'm going to give you two gals with boobs. It is time for, you guessed it, dating tips from porn stars. And these are Nikki Vicious and Michelle Danielle. We do not discriminate here. So I figured, why not have a couple trans gals do it? Who are both fucking gorgeous too. So whatever. Here it is. Dating tips of porn stars. Nikki Vicious, Michelle Danielle. And we will be right back right after that with Keith Roth, SiriusXM, Ozzy's Boneyard, Hair Nation, The Dictators, David Johansen. Dude's got a great musical history. We get into a lot of that. We get into pizza. We get into sports. We get into a lot of stuff. It's a fun conversation. And by his new record, The Law of Diminished Returns. This is another fucking podcast. And it's time for...
And now it's time for dating tips from porn stars.
Another podcast, dating tips from porn stars. We got Nikki Vicious and...
Michelle Danielle.
All right. We all know confidence is king, so we're taking that off the table. What's more important, looks, money, or humor?
Humor. Definitely humor.
All right. Is it important for the guy to make the first move? Is it important for the guy to make the first move?
Not necessarily, no. Not really, no. It's 2025, come on.
Well, do you think that's because guys aren't as straightforward anymore?
No, I think girls are a little more, like, come on, we're a little...
Nothing wrong with that. Can you smell desperation?
I don't know, can you smell me?
That's my line. Text or call?
Oh, text.
You prefer the phone call?
Yeah.
A little more old school. All right. How long do you wait to tell a guy for what you do?
I'm very honest, right away. Yeah, upfront, honest.
All right, and people want to find you guys, where they can find you, socials, all that good stuff?
You go first. I guess whatever the fucking bird website's called now, at Nikki Vicious XXX, or, just Google me. I've been around a long time.
Yeah, put me in Google, you'll find me on ManyVids, OnlyFans, Fastly, RoyalFans, pretty much everywhere.
Awesome.
That was dating tips from porn stars. Now back to another effing podcast with Izzy Presley.
All right, we are back, and that, of course, was another edition of Dating Tips with Porn Stars from the AVNs, Nikki Vicious and Michelle Danielle. Keith Roth is with us from SiriusXM, and, of course, The Dictators, and he's got a brand new album, which is out now. Right?
It's out in the universe, man. It's in the
universe. Yeah, it's fucking
it's
badass.
out there.
It is called the Law of Diminished Returns. And before we get into that, Nikki Vicious, by the way, she's like a punk metal girl. And that's how I know her, through Twitter.
I'd expect
We just
nothing
had
less.
Mutual fucking musical interests, you know. It was like, oh, this is fucking wild.
What's the background of Nikki?
Canadian.
Oh, I love Canadians.
Yep. Cock probably bigger than mine. She like I said, she is of the trans unit. However the fuck you say that.
Well, we should be in your hometown of Minnesota, and we should go to the Gay 90s. That's still open, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. But I mean, West Hollywood's closer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm going to go there and visit you in Dawson and do that whole Casey Kasem. I mean, you guys
that's
had me
fun, isn't it?
Oh, man. Oh, man. That was great. I mean, I had to pull out my Wilson Pickett Right On record after that. I was like, you guys brought me back in time. And you and Dawson together are great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hold on. Let me take a sip of my seltzer water here.
Yeah. It's a Trader Joe's water, right?
Kroger. It's the cranberry lime. It is quite delicious. So Keith and I just got off of the Monsters of Rock cruise and finally detoxed. Finally, all everything is out of my body that we put in at the buffet. How you feeling? How you doing?
I mean, that was a great cruise, man. That was a great cruise. You know, I didn't really officially jump on till like about a month out, but I'm so glad I went on there. I keep my record now 5 years in a row. I know you've been on it, 12, 13 times already?
Yeah, every one.
They've all been great, but I don't know about this last one. It was just the best one for me. I don't know why. They've all been phenomenal.
Well, one, you had Rose Tattoo.
Yep.
And that's fucking Rose Tattoo. And where else are you going to get Chris Holmes and
everywhere?
Jeff Keith from Tesla singing Neil Young. Neil Young rocking in the free world together on karaoke.
You know, I missed that. Where was I that night?
It was last night.
Okay. Yeah, I was at that artist party, and
yeah.
I think I fell asleep in the chair in where with the Q Steakhouse at the end.
Yeah,
I think I woke up, packed, and got out. Jeff Keith was interesting though, because every time I saw, or at least twice, he had like this grape stem, and he's pretending to smoke reefer, and he keeps passing it to me, and I played along. I don't know what he was doing, but I played along, like, smoking the grape stems with him. And Chris Holmes was hysterical. I mean, and Michael Monroe, I had such a great time with those guys. Yeah. Rose Tattoo, always delivering the goods, LA Guns. Just a great voyage. Another one in the books.
Absolutely. And you are going to be on the next one that we are doing together. Because I have Cruise to the Edge next week. And then the end of August, we have On the Blue. And,
I'll be back on the Blue. I love that cruise. And we've had some really great fun. You know, the cool thing about that is me and you really get to hang, because like Monsters of Rock, it's crazy, man. We have a lot of fun, but we're working. And then On the Blue, we have those pockets where we get drunk together, which is fun.
Exactly. And I like those pockets, especially
me too.
The getting drunk part. I enjoy that,
Getting drunk with Izzy Presley is always one of the highlights.
And Dawson.
Dawson. Yeah. He's the best.
The reason you're here is to talk about the record. We're going to get into your past, your history, and all that kind of fun stuff. The record is out now. And how long have you been working on this, Keith?
Chipping away for about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. Actually, you know what? The funniest thing is I finished the first mixes when we left for the Alice Cooper cruise, because I remember finishing those mixes and literally going right to the airport. So that was the first start of the Law of Diminished Returns.
That was last year. Or was that 2 years ago? I think that was 2 years ago.
I thought it was 22.
Was it 22?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they all fucking blur together.
Yeah. But I remember that clear as day, finishing that and then jumping on with you guys. So, I mean, initially it was supposed to be a Frankenstein 3000 record. You know, it was time to make a new one. And then as I started, laying down some, recording some tracks, people were, they were mostly demos at that point. People were like, this is a little out of the box for Frankenstein. And then, I'm submitting stuff to the Dictators. And I just felt it was really personal. It was my buddy Danny from the band Angel said, dude, people know you from radio and people know you from music. Why don't you just bring the two worlds together and just call it Keith Roth and make it simple? And since these songs are different than a little bit different than what you've been doing, make a solo record. And he's the one that kind of, planted that seed in my head.
So the vibe that I got, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not very familiar with your band's music. you know, and straight up and fucking honest.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'd expect nothing less from you, man. That's why
exactly,
that's why you'd be a man.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I got a lot of like early 70s, like Bowie type space vibe.
Yeah,
from
that's
that.
it.
Is that a fair way to assess it? Okay. Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, you remember the band Space Panther? I gave you that record.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes.
it's like, I grew up, my brothers, my middle brother's 12 years older than me. So around my house, man, you'd hear the Who, Zeppelin, the Stooges, MC5. Yeah. No one knew who these bands really were at that point, Curtis Mayfield. And then around 1987, 88 to me, music got so homogenized that I just reverted back to everything that I grew up on. Yeah. And that's been it ever since, to be honest with you. I mean, there's been some great bands.
Isn't it wild that the older we get, that's kind of what we do?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like, in the 80s, I was all about the 80s fucking, I'm not even going to say the word, but the 80s glam rock is like, I call it. I hate the fucking term hair metal. It's just, I know it's eternally accepted now, but whatever. I just don't like it. I think it's a slap in the face.
It is. It's disrespectful because, I mean, to be honest, I always loved Faster Pussycat and LA Guns and Guns N' Roses. But when I got on Hair Nation, I really didn't know Slaughter or Firehouse. Yeah. And then you meet these guys and they're incredible musicians. They're incredible people. Yeah. And then you go on these cruises and the fan base is so loyal and it's so lovable that it was a second, I caught it after the fact. And then I remember my band Frankenstein, we did some stuff with Cinderella. And I was like, what an incredible band. And I was thinking to myself, and at that point, the Stones were having issues with Ronnie Wood. And I'm watching Tom Kiefer side stage. I'm like, there's your guy. There's your guy that could, this guy plays piano. He plays guitar. He sings like a motherfucker. There's your replacement for Ronnie Wood right there. So it's cool that I got to experience a lot of this stuff after the fact, which makes it even more kind of fun and exciting.
Oh, no, absolutely. But like, back to the point is how we revert back to the older stuff. Cause even when I'm at Goodwill and I'm digging through the vinyl, I get excited about finding a Wilson Pickett record. I get excited, about that kind of stuff. And yeah, I get excited. I mean, actually, I get a boner when I find like an 80s rock record because you never see those. I mean, it's like when I pulled out the Meet the Beatles, from Goodwill.
That's the best.
It's like, you're never going to find this, but there's just gems. And it just, the more I listen to that 60s and 70s music, it's like, oh, fuck. It's just, and then as you heard when you were listening to me in Dawson, which you can only get on the Patreon, by the way, patreon.com/Real Izzy Presley.
Highly recommended.
Highly recommended. Yes. Is the bass playing.
Oh my God. My God. I heard you bring that up last night, and I instantly started thinking of guys like Parkish John, who played with like Lou Reed, Rock and Roll Animal, and obviously Jameson. These guys, they're bass players. They're not guitar players that played bass because by demotion. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, these guys really, Dennis Dunaway. These guys really are bass players, and you bringing that up was such a great point because it's so true. The way they make. Yeah. They make the rumble, the groove, the lines that they come up with is.
Oh, Duck Dunn. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
Come on now. Are you fucking kidding me? One of the greatest of all time. I mean,
right. Exactly.
That's why, I love Curtis Mayfield records and all, and all Parliament Funkadelic, Funkadelic in general. Got Bootsy. I mean, there's so many. Geddy Lee, he's a phenomenal bass player.
Right.
But what you're talking about with the grooves of Wilson Pickett and all that stuff, no one really does that anymore or knows how to do it.
Oh, dude, even those early Kiss records, Gene was a monster fucking player, and he doesn't get the credit. I mean, Kiss never gets credit anyways for being musical, which is bullshit. Because it's almost like Caveman Prague, those first 3 records. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's pretty much Prague is. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's guys that grew up in a garage together that didn't know what they were doing and turned it into something where nobody could do what they're doing. It is really what it became. It's funny you mentioned Kiss, though. I read an old interview with Mike Bloomfield, one of the greatest guitar players ever, Electric Flag. And he was saying, like, well, who do you dig? And this was like in the mid 70s. And he's like, Ace Frehley is like one of the greatest, new guitar. And that's coming from Mike Bloomfield. And guitar players, like when they bow down to Mike Bloomfield. So he was able to recognize all the great stuff that Ace was doing, back then.
Right. I mean, like Ace, especially in the 70s, like 75, 76, he was unfucking touchable. I mean, you listen to that live version, 100,000 Years, there's just something about what he plays.
I call him the middle step, because there was Jimmy, that was so influential, and then there was Ace, and then there was Edward. I mean, really, that's the three guys to me that influenced everybody. And of course, there's a lot of great ones. There's a zillion guitar players, and so many are great. But those are the three steps to iconic, influential guitar players: Jimmy, Ace, and you could throw Jimmy Page in there as well too, and Jeff Beck. But you're talking about a whole masses of people. Those three are the ones that got to the masses.
Yep, and it all starts with Scotty Moore.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm sure he got it from somebody as well, right?
Oh no, exactly.
Yeah.
But so the record is out now. Where can people find the record, Keith?
Anywhere they buy records at. Obviously, I know I did this really cool thing on Talk Shop Live, which is such a great show, and they got some signed copies. They're Amazon. A lot of record stores, brick and mortar places have it. DecoEntertainment.com. So it's out there. The vinyl hasn't come out until April 25th. The CD and digital stuff is out there now, which is cool. And
well, it's good to know that they're catching up with the vinyl, because there was a long time where it's like the CD would come out, then a year later the vinyl would come out.
Yeah, the pressing plants are they're more and more popping up, and they're moving. The turnaround's a lot quicker too. Listen, the kids that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of kids, the next generation, like if they'll use streaming to decide if they're going to buy the record, and buying the record means vinyl. It's like when we were kids again. It's like, if you walk through my neighborhood right now, it's like that 70s show. They got the long hair, the flannel shirts, they're wearing the Zeppelin and Pink Floyd shirts, and they're listening to the same shit that we grew up on, that we smoked, we were getting high in the woods with. I mean, it's the same thing. They love the Who, and it's funny. What the new gets old much faster than the old gets older.
And speaking of that 70s show, I mean, look at this fucking cover. That's space tie-dye, wrapped up into one big donut. And of course, the back cover.
Yeah.
Just fucking great. What was the inspiration?
It's kind of an autobiographical record, even though I didn't realize it. Like, there's a couple covers on there, like Curtis Mayfield, Superfly, and Strawman with Ross the Boss playing on it. But, I mean, all of it is, from, stories on my youth, stories of friends of mine went through. It's just a real honest record. Some of all the lyrics come from a real honest point of view. And obviously, as my inspirations are, T-Rex, Bowie.
Yeah.
If you want to get modern, maybe Elliott Smith and people like that. But it's, I don't lie about it. I do what I do, and that's it. If you like it, cool. If not, what can I tell you? You listen to Izzy.
There you go. Listen to Izzy. I'll say, other than being are you an East Coast pizza snob?
No, not really. I mean, I love New York pizza. It's the greatest pizza in the world. Brooklyn pizza. I mean, but New Jersey has really become, it's a suburb of New York City. If you Google my town, it says suburb of New York City. So a lot of the pizza guys came down here. So I think the pizza's the best, but I'm not a snob. I've had great pizza in Minnesota. I've had
that Midwestern tavern style with the fucking square cuts. I mean, to me, that's where it's at, because that's what I grew up on.
Exactly.
But I can still appreciate other fucking styles of pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hate these guys like, oh, there's no good pizza anywhere, but fuck you. There's good pizza everywhere.
I mean, I prefer New York pizza over Chicago, but if I was born in Chicago, I may think differently. That's what I'm leaning on.
Keith, here's the thing though, is Chicagoans don't eat that fucking deep dish lasagna. They eat the thin crust tavern style. That's the tourist thing, is they have to get the fucking lasagna, which I call that round lasagna.
Well, I guess with everybody, when they go to Chicago the first couple times, they got to, like, the same thing in Philadelphia, with cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
There's so many great places, but people go to the two obvious places, which are phenomenal. But you can't get a bad cheesesteak anywhere in Philadelphia. And
you can't get a bad cheesesteak anywhere. Well,
that's true.
It's true. I mean, it's a fucking cheesesteak. Oh, it's the bread. Fuck off. Fuck off.
There is something magical about New York bread, though. I don't know, the water or the you know, I mean, there's something real special to that.
It's the piss in the water that gives it that flavor.
Yes, the water rat defecation and all that stuff. It's intertwined in there, but there is something really good about it.
Now, Keith, this is your third time on the show, and we've never really delved into your history because the first time it was the Drunken Summit, I believe.
I believe that was it. Yeah.
And the next one was with FLIPP.
That was a lot of fun.
Book.
Yeah, that was really cool. And I thank you for like I said, there's always these bands that come through the cracks. You know, I fancy myself as a musicologist, but there's always so much stuff to learn. And then you got me into FLIPP a couple of years ago. Love the band, great records. And, you know, so that was really cool being a part of it. And that's ironically that CD I sent you, you know, my band Frankenstein was on a Dolls tribute with the late, great David Johansen. And I was looking for 10-inch poly bags. There you go. There you go. I had to send that to you because I was looking.
And I appreciate it
because I have OCD. I found some 10 inches that are in poly bag, so I went to the storage and I grabbed them. And behind it there was a couple CDs. I'm like, oh my god, I remember this, and they were signed. And then I flip over. I'm like, FLIPP is on this record with Steve Jones, and they're signed by David. I'm like, I got to send this to Izzy. Like it was meant, and I meant to bring it on the cruise, and it was on my mantle. But now at least I got to mail it to you. But yeah,
exactly, and it's appreciated. And you know, the first two times you were on here, I didn't know that you played with David Johansen.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in that circle? How did you get in Dave's radar?
You know, I played with a lot of people before that. Me and David started working together at Sirius. We were friends. You know.
Okay.
We Frankenstein opened up a couple shows for him, and we always got along really good. And then Meg Griffin thought I'd be a great producer because the way we hit it off. Yeah. And then one night we were playing Don Hill's Frankenstein, and David came out with Mara, and he's like, dude, I didn't know you were, I love your band so much. He goes, and that's probably a bad thing because I told the Ramones to get day jobs. But he goes, but, musically. And then, we started doing some Johansson group stuff, and he made me his musical director for those gigs. And I went in the studio with him. And as a matter of fact, that track that's on that record, when they asked us to be on it, I said to him as a joke, I'm like, hey, they asked us to be on this Dolls tribute. I mean, you wouldn't want to sing with us. And he's like, what song you doing? And he goes, oh, well, maybe. And then when we cut the bed track, he's like, yeah, I'll sing on that track. And he goes, do me a favor. And we scheduled when he was going to come to the studio and do it. And he said, bring the lyrics. And I'm like, you wrote these lyrics. What are you talking? He goes, well, if you go on the internet, they're close enough. Just bring it. So we finished the session, and he absolutely hit it out of the park. Because I had seen him, he was doing the Harry Smith stuff, and he was singing more of the folky stuff. He hasn't rocked like that, and he just crushed it. And then he told me right after, he goes that Morrissey is doing this event in London, and he was the president of the New York Dolls fan club, and it was his dream to get the Dolls back together.
Wow. And
Morrissey did, and it was only supposed to be a show or two. Izzy Stradlin was supposed to play guitar, but while they were over there, they wound up booking like 8 or 10 gigs, and then Izzy's like, well, that's too much, and then they wound up doing that for 14 years, and so. But and then after that, me and David, we did a bunch of those Johansson group shows, and such a blast, doing the Dolls records and the first 2 solo records. It was a hell of a band too, man. It was a lot of fun.
But did you get to play Buster Poindexter hot, hot, hot?
As he would call it, his smash shit.
Yeah. Was he not a fan of it?
I mean, he's like me and you. He's a musicologist. He loves a lot of Latin music, and he found that song, and he kind of put his twist on it. And he didn't think it'd be a hit. He thought it'd be a cool for the record, and it exploded. And I remember one time we were walking on Broadway or somewhere in Midtown. Somebody came up. He's like, "Oh, David, I just heard your stuff at a bar mitzvah the other day." And he goes, he puts his hand on the guy's shoulder. He goes, "I am so sorry I ever recorded that." He goes, "I do apologize." I mean, it made him a household name, but he's iconic for the Dolls and for the movies. And I really miss the guy, man. Me and if you listen to the tribute that me and Meg Griffin did a couple of weeks ago, there's a lot of funny stories, a lot of personal stories that we shared and played some of our favorite tunes. But, you know, I worked with the guy religiously for 23 years, and it was great, you know, playing in his band and recording songs and producing his shows. So that was one of the highlights, you know, one of the highlights.
Absolutely.
One of the good guys, man.
Yeah, obviously I never had the opportunity to meet him, but just one of those fucking iconic figures. You know what I mean?
No doubt. No doubt.
Were you just on tour with fucking Manitoba's Wild Kingdom?
No, that's a whole different entity. But Manitoba used to be in the Dictators, and
okay.
So I'm not. I'm in the Dictators with the founding members, Andy Chernoff and Ross the Boss, and Albert Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult, the guy that took the cowbell to a whole different level with Reaper and Burn. The richest guy in the band. He's playing drums. So, you know, but no, it's a different. I used to play with Manitoba. I played in a few of his bands, but obviously being in the Dictators, that probably wouldn't work right now.
Oh, gotcha. I could have swore that you were, I don't know.
But the weird thing is my middle brother went to kindergarten with Richard and Scott Top 10 Kempner. And I mean, I remember those guys from the neighborhood because they're all like 12, 13 years older than me. So the first record I bought with my own money was the Dictators Go Girl Crazy at Alexander's. And, you know, these are the guys from the neighborhood. It's pro wrestling. It's punk rock. It's heavy metal. It's everything. It's just infectious songs. So, you know, I've been a fan for a million years.
Right. Have you ever seen Dick Manitoba, Rob Zombie, and Al Jorgensen in the same room together?
No.
I think they might be the same person.
Let's say that again. Manitoba, Rob Zombie, and I've met them all, but I've never seen them all together.
Yeah, see? No, I thought of that because my first band was called Mattias Black.
Love that.
And
the
first song we ever played live was "The Party Starts Now."
What a great song.
Oh, it's fucking great. It's cheesy as fuck, but it's awesome. Yeah. That's what makes it fucking great.
Stop that whining because you had a
bad day. Oh, yeah.
That was great. It's funny. We may start doing that one. We do
really?
New York. Yeah, we do New York from Wild Kingdom. And I think we do one other one. But that's a great album. That was really like the fourth Dictators record, even though it wasn't called the Dictators. But yeah, you have any video of you guys doing the Party Starts Now?
There is, but I can't find it. It's on a DVD and it's on a VHS. I have the VHS. I do not have the DVD. I have to get it put back onto DVD somehow. But it was something. Let me tell you.
That's a great song too.
Right. How'd you get lined up with the Dictators?
Well, you know, I've known them for years. I mean, Frankenstein 3000, played with them many times. As a matter of fact, we had an 8-year tradition of doing this one particular show every summer. And ironically, when they had Manitoba's version of the Dictators, the bass player, Dean Rispler, couldn't do one gig. He was in Seattle. And Manitoba said, well, you know, and they wanted them to do the Go Girl Crazy record in its entirety around on New Year's Eve or New Year's Eve. And Manitoba's like, listen, Keith could do this. And it was like a week's notice, and it was playing bass, and I learned it. We crushed it. We made a shitload of money, the most money I ever made for one gig in my life, to be honest with you. And we had a lot of fun. And then when Andy wanted to get the band back together with Ross, Albert's been a part of the Dictators history forever. Blue Oyster Cult, Dictators, they've always had same management, so they knew that they wanted Albert. Albert wanted to be in the Dictators, but Scott was with them, and he was involved in the first 2 singles they recorded. And they realized shortly that afterwards that Scott wasn't going to be able to do it because Scott, had dementia, and it was becoming obvious that he couldn't, deal with the day-to-day stuff. So Albert had said, well, what about Keith Roth? And Ross said, that's a pretty good idea. I think he could do it. And Andy's like, I didn't even know he was a musician. I knew him as a DJ. And I went down one afternoon in Midtown and played with them at Smash. And we wound up having a good time playing all the old songs. And afterwards, Andy's like, you want to do this? And I said, yeah. And, we made the first record in 23 years. We've done 5 tours already, and we're having a good time. We're going to be on the Little Stevens Underground Garage cruise next month too. So
hell yeah, fuck yeah, dude, that's great. How long have you been in radio then?
Radio 98.
Okay,
but actually, I did know Andy as a musician way before I did radio. I mean, listen, radio is something. If you told me I started in October of '98, if you told me in September of '98 I do radio, I'd be laughing at you. But
right.
I was in a band in the '90s, and this girl Amy came out and did press on my band. We had a record coming out, and she was really cool. She was a publicist for Charlie Watts and Ronnie Wood through Continuum.
Oh, wow.
And we hit it off really good. And then she moved down to Jersey, where I was living in Long Branch, and they started a radio station there called The Rat, which is still there, 95.9. And she said, I talked to the general manager and I proposed a show, and I think you'd be a good co-host. And I'm like, and I heard The Rat, and they're a great station, but I'm like, I can't see myself, hey, Memorial Day weekend, Van Halen and Korn coming up. I'm like, no, she's like, no, we could do our own show, man, and play whatever we want as long as there's no cursing and between the people we know. So I went to the meeting. My hair was like up in the air like a Ubangi. My daughter was like 6 months old. I dropped her on this big table. We handed a playlist, and Dan's like, I'm crazy enough to say, let's give this a shot. And we started the show. And within the first 2 months, we had Joey Ramone coming down, and Johansson and John Paul Jones. And it was sick, man. The parties that and sadly, I don't think radio's ever going to be like that again. But that's how I got into radio. And then a couple of years into it, I get a call. Would you want to do a punk show on Sirius? Because it wasn't SiriusXM at that point. Right. Satellite radio. And I'm thinking, well, what is satellite radio? Is that like Wayne's World? Like I had no idea what it was. But the bread was worth it to come into the city. I'm always there. And when I walked through those glass doors in 2002, and I saw Pat St. John and Meg Griffin and Carol Miller, like this is radio royalty. I educated myself pretty quickly. So that's how I got into radio. Music led me to radio.
Dude, I have pretty much the same story, except I came up with my show and they put me on Sunday mornings under the covers with Izzy Presley, just playing fucking cover music, on a fucking rock station. And I did that show until I left Minnesota. And while I was doing that show, I ended up being the afternoon drive guy, because I was there. The guy.
I bet your ratings were great.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. And was I good? No. I've gotten a lot better though.
I think you're great, man. And I'm not saying that because, we're doing the show together and I'm supposed to, but I've known you now a while. It's definitely more than a minute. We've got some history there, but you're hugely entertaining. You take a lot of pride and respect in everything you do. And you give it, and it's always fun. And when you came out and did that, it wasn't this cruise, the other cruise, you did the Elvis thing. I'm trying to remember was it Viva Las Vegas or,
karaoke?
No, the Cruisers Jam or the
the Cruiser Jam. Oh yeah. We did. We opened up with CC Ryder.
CC Ryder.
Yep, and
that was one of the highlights of that cruise for me, man. Because you were awesome.
Well, you didn't see the whole show though?
Well, I had probably an event to do, but I caught you doing that, and I think I did Aerosmith with somebody after that.
That's
and then
right. Right.
I caught a couple of things. Those are fun though, because you get Brian Forsythe and Chow Fun and everybody to jam and stuff. I didn't get. Hopefully you'll consider me next year. I didn't get to do it.
Oh, dude, you're always fucking welcome. Dude, we had Michael Wilton this year.
Oh yeah, what did he do?
Yeah, Walk.
Oh, okay.
Because it was the RIP jam, so we did fucking Pantera. Which it was cool. Because the reason I do it. The guy that played drums, and they don't know who the artist is until they get on stage or they're getting ready to get on stage. And when he found out it was fucking Michael Wilton, he's like, Queensryche's my fucking favorite band, and I get to play with their kid. That's what it's all about, man. A lifetime of memories in fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right there. There. But the year that we did the Elvis, so we did Elvis, and then we went into Eastbound and Down.
That was
Elvis.
It. Yes, that was it. That was amazing. I came home and I listened to my Smokey and the Bandit soundtrack after that. That was fucking awesome.
Did you know what we closed with?
I probably wasn't there at that point.
No, you weren't there. Jenna from Paradise Kitty and myself did fucking Paradise by the Dashboard Light. The full fucking argument in the middle, the fucking whole 9 yards. And it was, as you know, it's unrehearsed.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's go, man. Know your parts and let's fucking roll. And we did it, man. We pulled it off.
Is that on YouTube?
I have video of it.
Yeah, you got to send me that. I'd like to see that. Also, me and you get to do every year the charity thing for the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. And this year we did it for the LA, people that, suffered the LA fires and stuff. We raised a ton of money every year. That's one of the highlights too. We broke the record. Me and Izzy are those auctioneers, man, but we're raising money for great causes, which is another highlight on that thing, which is super cool.
Absolutely. And Keith, before I let you go, we do have to talk about your new podcast called Rockstrap with our mutual close personal friend, Don Jameson. When did this idea come up? Because basically you have musicians on, but you talk about sports.
Right. And sports guys talk about music. Yeah. I mean, it's an idea that I had 20 years ago, longer than that. There's even a pilot that we made with myself, Dave the Snake Szabo from Skid Row, Black Jack McDowell, the pitcher, Jack McDowell.
Yeah.
Right? We did a pilot. Nobody picked it up. It was just I didn't have the energy to really shop it. And then I was talking to Don about it, and Don's like, well, it's funny, that metal show, we were thinking about doing that sports show. Maybe we should revise it. And we kind of talked about it. We met with some people throughout the years. And then, in early 24, Pantheon said that they were down to do it. And we started doing it in July. So it's almost a year. We probably did close to 40 episodes. And we've had everybody on there, from Jeremy Roenick to the Dandy Warhols to guys from Bon Jovi. And you would be great on there too, because
I would love it, man. I would love it.
Because, man, as a music guy, which you are, you talk to your buddies, man. What do you talk to, your music friends about? Sports, you being from Minnesota, the Twins, you're talking the Vikes or whatever teams you're into. And that's the rule. If you're a sports guy, you talk music. And if you're a music guy, we had Jeremy Roenick on, Jeremy Roenick.
Of course.
The way he fires up the team by putting on Iron Maiden and Zeppelin and, hearing from this hockey legend. And then he was dissing the NHL Hall of Fame about not being in. And literally the day after we recorded the episode, he got in. So we edited it.
Nice.
We edited it for Jeremy, but maybe we'll sell unedited editions soon. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. So me and Don are having a good time doing it.
Yeah, I love sports. I was a sports writer for a few years. So I was in the press box. I wasn't just one of these guys fucking at home blogging. I was in the press box. I was on the field, and I miss that. I really fucking miss that, being in the locker rooms after the games. And I was once in the Twins locker room, the clubhouse, as they call it in baseball. It was after game 163. They played that extra game against Detroit to see who went to the playoffs, because they went to New York and got their asses handed to them, next day. But being in a locker room during a celebration like that is like nothing you've ever been around before in your life. I'm talking to Mike Redmond. All of a sudden I get this fucking beer poured over my head. I turn around, it's Joe Nathan. I saw Ron. You remember Ron Coomer?
Of course.
Baseball? Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to do color commentary on the radio for the Twins, right? And sometimes on TV. I see him standing by the door, wringing beer out of his tie into his mouth. The fucking most glorious thing ever. So
yeah.
I have those stories. I have those fucking memories, man.
We're going to have to get you on for sure. I'm going to make a point of it. Also, we're talking to each other on opening day, which is amazing.
Right.
It's opening day right now. I don't know when people are going to see this, but my Yankees are probably in the fourth inning right now. The Twins are probably just getting close to first pitch at this point.
Oh yeah, they should be in the first inning about now, because we always know opening day, the opening ceremonies usually take about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So it's 1:35. They should be going right about now.
The joyous thing about opening day is every team's undefeated. Every team's in first place. And, the Yankees, they're picking us to win 80 games, maybe getting in as a last wild card. I love that when there's no pressure on them. And all these, in my neck of the woods, it's all Yankee or Met fans. And what I'm hating is fellow Yankee fans jumping on this Mets bandwagon. And I'm like, you can't come back. Remember that. You've made the list. You're on the list now. And we've got you. You have to. God, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, what I've noticed about New York fans, it's like you're either Yankees Giants or you're Mets Jets.
I'm Yankees Jets.
Yeah, well, you're one of the few. One of the few, and like Trunk is Mets Giants.
Right.
But for the most part, that seems to be the algorithm.
Yeah, because the Yankees and the Giants played at Yankee Stadium, and the Jets and the Mets played at Shea Stadium, so they kind of came in. came as a package, and I don't know if you're into basketball, but I bleed the blue and orange. I am a diehard New York Knicks fan. And that trade that we made with Minnesota, getting Karl Anthony Towns, and you guys got Randall and DiVincenzo. I mean, we'll see what shakes out. I'd love to I miss Dante, though, now that the playoffs are coming. I wish he was on the Knicks right now.
Yeah, I was a basketball guy until I covered it.
Really?
And when you see Timberwolves were terrible. And it was the last game of the season. There was the rookie, one of the rookies was walking around getting his shoe signed by everybody on the team because it's his rookie season, right?
Right.
Went up to Marcus Blunt. Marcus Blunt looked at him, went, and walked away. Like, there it is. There's the NBA. That's basketball right there. That's how it is.
What year was that?
Oh God, that was it was after the Garnett trade.
Okay.
There were some thin years.
Well, there's some bad guys in all sports,
No, I get it, but it's like basketball is all about the name on the back and not about the crest on the front. And that's why I love hockey. It's all about the team. It's all about fucking. Well, I can barely walk, but you just fucked up my dude. I'm gonna fuck you up now too.
Yeah, well, that is the beauty of hockey. I mean, and I listen, I think they're the most physically fit out of all. I mean, you know what it's like to skate. You grew up in Minnesota, so I mean, doing some of those shifts and the play. I mean, I guess. Well, who's your allegiance to now? You're in Vegas now, right?
Yeah, fuck the Golden Knights.
I mean, you know how that upsets me? They come in the first year, they go to the finals, and they win a cup. I'm a Ranger fan. I saw one in my lifetime. Thank God my dad got to see 94 because he never thought he'd see that, which he did. But he did. He got that. But,
I tell you what, it drives me fucking crazy. They come in, they go to the final the first year, thankfully lost, but they still won a cup, in their sixth season. We had, as Minnesota sports fans, we had the North Stars go in 81 and 91, lost both. Islanders, Penguins, fuck Mario Lemieux. God damn it. Still pissed off. Then we lost our fucking team. Went to one conference final with the Wild and nothing ever since. And these fucking cocksuckers come in and go to the final the first year. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Well, I'm glad to see that you didn't jump on the bandwagon because that's probably
Hell
the team.
No, fuck no.
And that's probably the team you have the most access to, right?
Oh, I could walk to the arena.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a diehard Raiders fan. I love the Raiders. My whole family was Oakland Raiders fans.
Oh, wow.
The Stabler, Biletnikoff era.
Yeah,
I mean, and I love the Raiders when they won in 76 against the Vikings. Like, I love the Vikings. Like, football's the only sport. Listen, it's Yankees, it's Knicks, it's Rangers. And I had an uncle that got me into the Islanders because he lived in Long Island. I met Bobby Nystrom and Bossy. I came home, told my dad,
wow.
I said, I think I like the Islanders. He said, get the fuck out of my house. Get out. I was 8 years old. Get out. But I meet these guys. They're cool. They win cups. But all right. But I am a Ranger. But football, it's Jets and it's the Vikes and it's the Raiders. And I will root for the Giants. All of them. But I mean, with that Raiders team in 76, with Stabler and then with Plunkett coming, he was, written off as he's done and comes back. But when they moved to Vegas, I'm trying to find the love for them in Vegas. I'm trying to find it. I haven't found it yet.
I haven't even been to the stadium. I drive by it every day. I mean, like literally drive because it's right across the fucking highway from me. But I don't know. Even when the Vikings were here, I didn't go to the game. I'd rather watch it at home. Yeah.
Even your own team.
I got spoiled by the press box.
Yeah, I could see that.
You get.
I hear that from what I heard from a really good source, and he told me that the Jets were going to get Rodgers. The same source told me that the Vikings are going to get Rodgers.
Well, that door is not closed, and I'm going to go on record right now saying I'd be okay with it.
Yeah,
because the guy can still throw. He just was on a terrible fucking team, and he's a head case. And I always say,
if you saw the last 5 games of the season where they became respectable, and he almost knew if they had another 8 games, they probably would have made the playoffs. He looked amazing. I think he's got a good year left in the tank. And on Minnesota, that could smell their first Super Bowl, lead to the first Super Bowl.
I always say, because we all know that the Vikings got Favre after going to the Jets for 1 year, and as we called him, Jesus. And
you betcha.
Oh, for sure. But when Rodgers went to the Jets, I'm like, oh, it's gonna happen because he has Jesus envy. Because he's not Brett Favre and he will never be Brett Favre. He has Jesus envy. So he wants to go to Minnesota to win a Super Bowl because Brett Favre could not. That's the only reason he wants to go to Minnesota. I know it.
But you'd be okay with that, right? If they did win a Super Bowl, you'd be all right with that.
It would be tainted by a Packer.
Yeah, I get that.
But
so you would have felt the same way if Favre would have won you a Super Bowl too, right?
But Favre is so endearing though. There's just he's got an aura about him. It's just so when he came, he was the most hated player in the league to us. But when he came to Minnesota, like it was on the news. Every news channel had their choppers in the sky, following the fucking vans from the airport to the performance center. It was like the fucking president was in town and everybody just fell in love with him instantly because he just had this aura. I got to cover one game when he was there, and being in that, he always did the press conference. He didn't do the locker room thing, right? And just being in that press conference, there's Jesus, and he just had this aura that sucked you in. It was just grit, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of knew that was the plan, right? Like the deal was like, all right, you go to the Jets for a year because there's no way Green Bay is going to trade with with the Vikings. So,
right.
You know, and the Jets were at a point where, like, you know, they could win the Super Bowl. They were right on the cusp of it. Maybe he could take them over the top. They knew it was a 1-year deal, and he played great for him, but then he messed up his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I think they were like 10-1 at that point, and he played great for you. I mean, I remember watching that playoff game with disgust when they lost it. But, you know, as a Jet fan, and thank God I'm a Yankee fan because I saw a lot of titles. But as a Jet fan, they're going to win the Super Bowl. 5 plays, the guy tears his Achilles.
Yep.
And there you go, the curse of the Jets. So, but I think he's built right now. If you got him, you'd have a great year out of him. And
I agree. So, all right, let's wrap this up. I have to go try to make some money. Let me hit the outro music. And so maybe it'll fucking be on here. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll have to put it in. I don't know. Anyways, Keith Roth, the Dictators, SiriusXM, Ozzy's Boneyard, and Hair Nation, and his brand new album. Available right now. Hold on, I'm digging it up. Called The Law of Diminished Returns.
There
right
you go,
here.
man.
Yeah.
That's
Get it
it.
everywhere. Everywhere you can get find it online. Google him. Hit him up on the socials. He'll tell you how to get it.
Yeah. DecoEntertainment.com, Talk Shop Live, Amazon, wherever you get your records. The vinyl comes out April 25th, and I appreciate you talking it up, Izzy. You know, it means a lot to me, my dude.
I appreciate it. I love just shooting the shit with you. Thank you to Nikki Vicious and Michelle Danielle, trans porn stars, for this edition of Dating Tips with Porn Stars. I will hopefully have a show for you guys next week. I leave on the 2nd for the cruise to the Edge, and watch people really geek out about music, because they really geek out about music, and God bless them for it. Keith Roth, hit him up, and check him out on SiriusXM Hair Nation, Ozzy's Boneyard, and buy the goddamn record. My name is Izzy Presley. This has been another fucking podcast, and don't forget, what I lack in talent, I make up for in the cock.